All right, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It is August the 26th, and we have our special guest today. Bryan is going to give us his wisdom, at least share his wisdom with us. Yeah, give it to us, but share it with us on the new appraisals and what's going on. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Patty. Thank you all for joining us. Jonathan Stickland and Red Pest Control is here, and John, I didn't get your last name, Holcomb. John Holcomb's here. Okay, so our core value today is really about what Bryan's about to tell us. So I'm going to tie this together. We are passionate about daily growing stronger, smarter, and more selfless. We are relentless about the pursuit of knowledge and growth so that we can share it and pass it on. We want to see our team members flourish personally, professionally, encourage, challenge each other, grow stronger, physically, mentally, professionally, emotionally. We give all this back to our team, our family, and communities. We are open to resources, strategies, techniques. We believe being generous with our trade secrets helps entrepreneurs flourish, impacting the city, and will drive business and loyalty. This last piece is Bryan right here showing his resources, strategies, and techniques with us so that we can be better realtors and better at what we do. All right, so let me get over to Jonathan and John, and I'm sorry that I picked that up from your email signature.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit wonky, but
that's okay.
I'll put it in Slack.
Yeah.
So that everybody online and people watch this later, because we put it on YouTube, and that way they can get the information. But if you guys want to take the floor, I've got your slides in here.
Okay, great.
Two at a time.
I'll be quick.
Oh no, take it down. We got time for it.
So my name is Jonathan. It's actually Stickland, not Strickland. Everyone does that.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Everybody does that, but it's Stickland. I don't normally look homeless. However,
yes, he does.
I am also the president of the board of The Promise. If you've ever heard of it, it is the second longest running musical of the life of Christ in the world. We were down in Glenrose for almost 40 years. We just moved to Willow Park last year.
Didn't know that. Yeah, I've been to see it many times.
Yeah, yep. We just moved to Willow Park Baptist Church. We're doing there while we build a new facility up here in the Metroplex. So if you haven't seen it, it's unbelievable. We've got almost 200 in the cast and crew, live animals, all that fun stuff. So that's why this.
That's on the beard.
That's why I'm the
Who do you play?
So I'm actually the narrator this time. Usually they make me be the drunk politician, parrot. But for those of you that don't know, I was in the legislature for 8 years. So I served Tarrant County, Hurst, Euless, Bedford, North Arlington, and Grand Prairie from 12 to 20. So natural thing to move from rats and roaches in Austin to rats and roaches here. I get to take these ones out. So same thing. But anyways, yes, so The Promise is my passion. We've had over 4 million people come and see that production, which I'm not sure where everyone is, but we're openly Christian conservative folks ourselves. And it's just really cool. A lot of people who will never walk into a church will go see a play. And so it is the entire life of Christ. And 85% of our script is straight scripture, which is really cool. So if you haven't seen it, opening September 11th, let me know. Happy to send you guys some tickets to come check it out. But it's right here in Willow Park. So
yeah, how do we get info?
Awesome. It's thepromisetexas.com. And I think we have 13 performances coming up starting September 11th. So it's super. You've seen it down in Glenrose.
I have seen
It is incredible. And it's a great thing to bring people to as well.
We can send it out to everybody.
Yeah. So anyways, appreciate 6th Avenue. Sold a house for my mother recently. So you guys did a great job, and we really appreciate that. And wanted to talk to y'all because I think our business is set up to help you guys perfectly. We have actually been in business as Red Pest Control for only 14 months, but we've been in the industry for a very long time. Brought a couple of different companies together. We've got 23 people. We cover the entire Metroplex and go all the way out to Abilene. 23 people means that we are big enough for any job, but still small enough to care. So I think that's kind of what I've seen on y'all's website, and the way that you guys go for the personal approach and taking care of people. That's what we're doing. My technicians are different. That's the difference when it comes to pest control. There's over 20,000 registered pest control companies in the state of Texas alone. Almost all of them are 1 or 2 man operations. The rest are the big mass multinational billion-dollar plus companies, Terminix, Orca, and things like that. There's not much space in the middle. And I think when you guys are out there, especially dealing with stuff and trying to help your clients, there's a couple of things that stick out to me. Number one, you need something done fast. It's usually an emergency. It's usually a kink in your system where you're trying to close, someone's noticed, someone's got an objection. You need someone who's going to go out there and take care of it. Most pest control companies are going to require you guys to sign some kind of year-long plus contract and won't work with you on a system for a short solution. We're in a position to do so. So we are problem solvers, and what we're looking for are long-term relationships with folks and not just one-offs. Unfortunately, in our industry, there's a lot of bad actors. They can make a lot of money, a lot of quick cash flow. If you've dealt with anybody recently, it's hard to get people just to show up. Okay, we don't really do any advertising because we don't have to. We have grown to a multi-million-dollar company in just 14 months, and it's through strategic partnerships and taking care of people when they need it. We're full service. There's nothing that we won't say no to. If it's legally allowed, we'll do it, including chasing bats around mansions in Dallas, which we recently did. On Sunday when I got back from my cruise, I went to a lady's house in Hudson Oaks who had what she said was a baby deer that was dead in her front yard. And the city will not come and get it. And she was devastated by it. And she said, I need someone to come get this thing. And I'm thinking, a baby deer, okay, I can just grab some gloves. All we had at my house at the time were my wife's like purple medium-sized gloves for her nails on these big hands. But I put them on there and I grab a trash bag and I'm thinking, I'm just going to go pick up this deer. I get there, it's not a baby deer. It's about 55 pounds. And I'm going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? We figured it out. And we took care of her. And that is the attitude of all of my guys. One big difference with Red Pest Control that makes us stand out, in my opinion, is we are technician focused. I can get up here and say whatever I want. The guy who comes out to the house is going to determine whether that is taken seriously and the problem is solved or not. So I sacrifice, as the business owner, a profit margin to put my guys on a salary. Very rare in pest control. And what that does is it aligns their incentives. They're judged on customer retention and not having to go back, as opposed to stuffing in as many jobs as they possibly can. Okay. They are the highest paid in the industry. If you have seen our trucks and our uniforms and our equipment, we stand out completely because our entire design is around keeping the technicians happy and employed. And that's why they're paid high, and we haven't had any turnover yet. That gets to translate to you guys and your customers, because when they come out there, they're going to want to protect their relationship and solve a problem. Okay. If you have things that come up, we put together a little flyer. I didn't have time to pick up a nice
One of those.
printed ones. Yeah, this is just some general information about some of the different services that we do. We do houses, we do multifamily, we do commercial, we do literally all of it. So whatever it is, we can do it. We work specifically with a lot of property management companies because their problem is they've got an emergency situation. They need somebody to show up and they need it handled quickly when you're dealing with liability. I imagine it's the same for you guys. You don't want to deal with close at the last minute because the inspector went out there and found rodent droppings in the attic and scared the crap out of someone who's never dealt with that before. The truth is, all these folks who are moving here from out of state, a lot of them have never seen the pest pressure that we have here in Texas. It's year round. We live in Willow Park. We kind of know on our 3.5 acres that you're going to see bugs. You're going to do. A lot of people aren't used to that. Okay. What we've found in the commercial space is the number one reason that a restaurant gets a bad review is from messing up the order. The close number two is a pest issue. Okay. People don't think of pest control the way that they should, but it is the first line of healthcare in this country. The number one spreader of illnesses and disease, everything that scares us, that we hear about, we think about it as healthcare, it usually starts in the pest floor. So, quick question, because this usually shocks people, but what would you guess was spent on pest control in the DFW Metroplex last year on regular pest control services? Just take a guess. I know you know, John.
Over 2 billion.
2 billion is a pretty high number.
2 billion,
I mean,
25 billion.
Oh, whoa.
$25 billion was spent on pest
You're the
control
closest
in the
one, Glenn.
DFW market alone last year. When you think about every single house, every single restaurant, every single place that has to have lodging, overnight stuff, restaurants. In the state of Texas, if you're inside the city limits, almost every single structure is required to pre-treat for termites before a foundation is even laid. It is a massive, massive industry. The problem with pest control is that nobody is sitting at home right now going, I want to be an exterminator one day. Our pipeline for talent is horrible. We kind of had an inside joke that pest control finds you. It found me when me and my wife got married. I was 22, she was 18. And 2 months after we got married, she was pregnant with Andy, our oldest. And I had a part-time job at the Costco bakery and was taking some classes at TCC. And I was like, oh no, I got to get a real job. Well, this was 06 financial collapse. Not much going on. My plan was always to go into oil and gas with my father. Called him up. Dad, Christy's pregnant. And he was like, well, I got nothing for you, son. I'm barely holding on to my situation. So I started looking for a job and I found a job in pest control. And what I realized is that I got given a gift because this is the most amazing industry ever. We get to solve real problems. We get to protect people. You guys understand that their homes are probably the biggest investment that they're going to make. Okay. And the second largest cause of fires in the state of Texas, outside of kitchen, rodents in the attic. Termites will literally destroy their property. Bugs will literally destroy every piece of food that they have in there. And when you talk about asthma and you talk about all the different things that affect people, it starts here. And so a lot of people don't think about that when they think about pest control, but it's a big deal. If you have an animal living underneath your home, okay, it will affect your daily life until it is taken care of. And that's why there's a lot of people, most of which don't have a lot of talent, end up in pest control. And we have an industry that has not innovated very much for a very long time. So Red Pest Control is positioning to change that. We're putting our technician first because we believe that the technician is going to ultimately decide the service that is rendered. And therefore, to take care of the customer, we got to take care of the technician. So we've made a couple of promises to you guys. One of them is that we have a 24-hour emergency policy. So if you guys are in a closing situation, we would love to be able to come up with a solution. Had one that we helped you guys with not too long ago. It was rodents in the attic. The people were panicking right before the closing situation. You needed something quick. Here's the deal. Rodents require multiple visits. We got to go set up the traps. We got to figure out how they're getting in. We got to set up the rodent bait stations. Then we got to follow up until there aren't any more. We can then provide you guys with a letter that says, hey, this is clear, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. So what we would like to do with you guys is figure out a way how nothing in the pest control world becomes a stumbling block for any of your sales, whether you're representing the buyer or the seller. Not sure exactly what y'all do here. We would like to work with you. We handle everything. So whatever you run into, we can do it. Squirrels, animal trapping, all of it. Feral cats, we do. Yep.
Recipes are extra for the store.
We do it all. I have another interesting thing that I would like to try with you guys. It's something that I've thought about for a long time. So y'all, on a number of the sales that you make, are required to get a WDI, wood destroying insect report. Most of that is done with your inspector. Okay. Sometimes the buyer pays for it. Sometimes the seller does. All kinds of different stuff. If Red Pest Control is hired to do a WDI inspection, and our standard is $150, which is pretty standard across the industry. If we find no signs of termites, we would like to offer the property a free 6-month termite retreat warranty that is free to transfer to the new owner. Okay, so that when you guys get to the table, when you're talking with folks, it's just an extra feather in your cap to go, hey, just so you know, this house actually has a termite warranty that is transferable to you. There's 6 months left on it, and you can use it as a bonus and just something to cross off that they don't have to worry about, especially if they're moving into Texas for the first time. If they're doing any kind of research, they'll realize we're all going to get termites eventually. They're God's little creature. That's what they're supposed to do. We need them to do it. We just don't want it at our house. I think that is a really nice value and something that you guys could pass along to folks. Obviously, the angle for us is I'm counting on my inspectors to not find termites, right? But we're interested in the relationship with the buyer who's moving in afterwards. So when the 6 months is over, they transfer over to us for free. After 6 months, we would like to offer them a renewal and try and get them on the regular pest control service. So
I have a question on that, and I don't know if you know,
Yep.
Bryan, I don't know who would answer this. So obviously, any FHA VA loan requires the WDI, it has to be submitted to the lender. Does anybody know if like a preemptive, do you submit that to the lender, or does it have to be a new one?
you will have to get a most of them require within 30 or 60 days, I believe, of
Right, but
it being done.
yeah.
The warranty is
Yeah,
kind of
I just am trying to think of like, okay, if I have a listing and I'm like, oh, hey, not only do you get this 6-month thing, your client doesn't have to pay for a WDI, we've already got one.
Yep.
I don't know if that, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
it depends on the lender, I
Okay,
think, unfortunately.
Okay.
Some would probably be okay with that.
okay.
Most of the time, my experience on the WDI is it's these home inspectors also go and get their termite license, and it's just an add-on that
Well,
they
and
say,
some of
well,
them
you got to
charge
get this
extra,
too. So, you know,
Yeah.
so it would be kind of like third wheeling it on that deal, but
Well, some of them charge
hand you
extra,
some.
so it's
Yep.
like, if,
most of them do.
right, so it's like, if we can do it preemptively with them, we
Yep.
just saved you time and money.
Yep.
But I guess it depends.
I think it depends.
Okay.
But regardless, you would get to hand them a 6-month termite warranty so that they don't have to. I think it also, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just so they don't have to worry about it.
Mhm.
It's like something ahead of time, one less thing for a buyer.
It's also one of those things that I think most buyers would go, oh, if they had that, they were maybe a little more responsible. You know,
Yeah.
like if I'm buying a car
Yes,
and they're like,
exactly.
here's all the oil change paperwork that I had, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, they didn't run this into the ground. So there's that. If y'all want to work together on, you know, when we're doing staging stuff or whatever else, you get this house all nice and beautiful. Somebody walks in, an American roach or a water bug walks by, it's going to ruin your customer experience. So, be more than happy to work with you guys on a set standard price of like, hey, everything's perfect. Let's go hit this place so that that's not an issue. Anything y'all need, but we really like to have a relationship. I brought John along. He's my senior account guy. So I'm going to have him pass out all his cards so that everything is streamlined for you guys. If you have a problem or a question on anything, you can call John on his cell phone and then he can dispatch, hey, I need somebody out there today. Hey, we'll be out there in the morning. Here's how much it would cost. Quick, easy, and all that fun stuff. So
Thank you guys for coming today.
Yep. Appreciate y'all's
I've got
time.
your number back up and we will put
Yep.
everything back in Slack. I'll send out the flyers that John gave me, and so those will be in Slack as well. You guys are welcome to stay and talk to agents after the meeting. You'll be here till about 11:15, but if you need to go, it's good.
if we go, don't take it personally, but these are literal cell phones. Y'all give us a call and come see the promise, okay?
I sent it out to them already.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank y'all.
I
Okay.
tried to call you or text you this afternoon because I do need to get a contract set up on a.
Yep. Another thing, no contracts, everyone's a handshake,
Yep.
but yes. So
Contract.
no rest.
Verbal.
And we can do your houses too, and we'll give you guys a really good deal on your houses.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need to get rid of like roommates below.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, John. All right. And I'll get the R out of your name from now on, I promise.
I'm used to it.
I'm sorry, man. My brain didn't register it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ryan
Google
had a
it
loose
automatically puts an RN too, so it kind of just does that. See y'all.
Bye.
Okay, so next week we've got breakfast with Cameron Bosch. I will be in Mansfield. Andrew will be here. He came this morning and he's going to set up his computer and run the meeting from here, but I will be in Mansfield just to see everybody down there. So Patty and Rachel and Jenna and Jen, who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. I said Rachel.
Rachel, Jana,
Patty.
Clarissa.
Clarissa,
Jen.
yeah, they're good. I'll get all that. So we'll see you guys next week. Cameron Bosch will be here with Vision Roofing, and I'll let him know what's going on so he's not sideswiped by me. Week after that, we have Jillian Raymer and Service First Mortgage. As you notice, we are moving into the fall schedule here in September. So if things are a little bit different, here is the sign, Jenny, if you wanted to sign, I sent you the link, but I'll make sure that that's in Slack on the bookmarks today. I didn't know why I didn't put it there, but it's in the, should be in the Monday night email and the follow-up on after this meeting. Here in a little while, just probably 10 minutes, we're going to have Bryan come and talk to us about how the new appraisals are coming and what they call URAR 3.6.
Yeah, 3.6, yeah.
Okay. So Bryan's going to do that for us. Go to the hub if you're not using that. The backside has been totally redone and it is available at the bottom of that page, and it's all searchable. So like if you were ever in the backside and went, I don't know where blah, blah, blah is, you can actually search the word and it actually will find it in all the documents. So that one's really cool. Did somebody need that? Did you get it? Okay. Here's what going on this week nationally. Is this what normal looks like? Existing home sales remain slow, roughly 4.06 annualized. Prices are proving much more resilient than transaction volume. The market is adjusting through longer timelines, more negotiations, softer asking prices, rather than a broad collapse in values. Mortgage rates still refuse to give buyers an easy answer. We're still running 6.75% today. There is some encouraging inflation data. Buyers are waiting for one Fed meeting or one economic report to fix affordability. They may be waiting on something that never arrives. So it's about us talking to people about 6.7, date the rate, marry the house. That's the bottom line. Housing system underneath the slowdown still looks healthy. Inventory has returned closer to normal levels. Mortgage credit availability is improved. Homeowner equity remains extremely strong, and delinquencies remain relatively contained. I have seen a couple more short sales, things like that going on, but it's not massive yet. Go ahead.
No, nothing, no.
Arthritis.
I'm
She's just old.
sorry.
I got the gap.
It was.
Just remember, slow does not equal distress. Just because the market is slow doesn't mean that it's distress.
I feel like it's returned back to like 2017, 18.
Pre-pandemic.
I like it.
Yeah,
I think you need to let some newer agents know.
yeah.
Well,
Here's the problem. My client keeps asking, when's the market going back to normal? Coach me through defining what a normal housing market actually looks like, inventory appreciation based on market, and then help me compare with that with today's conditions. So just talking with your AI partner about how you can talk to these other people. Here's the local market update for our 4 areas. Parker Wise gets to go first this week. Buyers are still trading farther out location for value, but the markets are diverging. Weatherford is seeing faster sales than a year ago, even with roughly flat pricing. Wise County posted higher sales and prices, but longer market times. There's another reminder that Westernplex is no longer one homogeneous market. Weatherford, Aledo, Springtown, Decatur, and rural Wise are behaving differently. You guys know that anyway. Everything is different and it's very micro market. Forward Tarrant County forward prices remained essentially flat year over year. Tarrant County's broader 3-month median is still about 1.8%. Sales volume also higher than last year. That reinforces an important client lesson. A softer DFW headline does not automatically describe Fort Worth. So what you see on the news, on Channel 8, Channel 11, Channel 5, Channel 4, what you're seeing there is not necessarily the same thing all over. It really can get very, very localized. Bryan, I'm not preaching to the choir there. Okay. Mansfield City pushing toward a more mixed use feature. Mansfield future. Mansfield continues advancing zoning and development cases designed to add residential, commercial, institutional uses rather than relying only on traditional suburban divisions. Current planning activity includes new townhome zoning and continued mixed-use development around major corridors. As a whole, DFW is seeing fewer sales are not translating into dramatically lower values. July brought 7,973 single-family sales, down 4% year over year, and median price declined 1% to 400,000. With roughly 4.5 months of inventory, the bigger story is weaker transaction volume, not a major price reset. Does that make sense? Okay. AI prompt seller tells me I heard home sales are down. Prices must be falling. Ask me for the latest numbers in their specific markets. Then coach me through explaining the difference between sales volume, inventory, days on market, and home values. Here is Clarissa's view of what's going on in your county. So pick your favorite county. And you'll still see that coral line way out there with price decreases. It is the end of August and transaction volume is down. 2 listings are down. Sorry, we went down the wrong hole. Last week we saw 7,300 new listings week over week. This week we're at 6,650. Really think about it though. People that are going back to school, they've got their kids, they're getting into the new routine. They're not really worried about putting their house on the market.
I mean, I feel like you and I have this conversation about twice a year where I'm like, ugh. And now I finally got nowhere. I'm like, okay, I know. But I mean, like, we're not going to see a lot until after Labor Day, and then we'll see that jump start until next December.
That's correct. That's traditional. And we actually may see it next week. I would be real surprised if that number is not close to 7,000 next week, because everybody's had 2 weeks into their new schedule and they know how things are going. I think things will start listing next week and then it'll pick up steam after the Labor Day holiday. That's my gut.
At 3. Yeah.
3 what?
Listening.
Coming?
About one.
Coming or now?
Coming
Coming?
Labor Day.
After Labor Day. I've got 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been, I've been getting people
But I
ready
got
ever
4.
and ever and ever and ever. And go ahead. Yeah, with me, he's gonna be happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Patty already made him happy. He just knocked out 12 and a 4 for Arlington. I'm happy with
There you go.
He's on it. He's pretty happy.
Andy is very, very good at what he does. I'm
His mom's house is gonna be for sale in a
good. I have never had a complaint about anything Andy did and him building that website for us where we can order individually. I mean, it took us literally, we've been talking about that for 2 years, but he got it done. And I'm real happy with him. Anyway, here's the takeaways from the market pulse. Buyers are still buying even during the late August slowdown. Around our 6 counties, 889 new auction contracts, 1,100 pendings compared with 1,500 new listings. Tarrant was especially notable, 516 new listings, but 366 auction contracts and 409 pendings. The market is slower, but motivated buyers are still putting homes under contract. Here's what to tell your sphere. There are fewer casual buyers in the market right now, but the buyers who are looking are still making decisions. A slower market doesn't mean nobody is buying. Sellers are still competing for those buyers. Pricing is how they're doing it. Across 6 counties, blah, 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 2,593 listings versus only 1,500 new listings. We had 2,500 reduced prices versus 1,500 new. That's about 1.7 price reductions for every new listing. There's your individual county, show the same pattern. So what to tell your sphere? Today's seller isn't just competing with the new listing down the street. They're competing with existing homes whose sellers are actively repositioning their price to attract the same buyer. Here's an AI prompt if you want to use it. I'm not going to say that one. I'm going to move on. I want to get Bryan up here as soon as I can. I'm on time still, but by 1 minute. This is important though, local development and builder update. Closure of Coyote Drive is clearing the way for canal and park construction tied to Panther Island, a 500-acre redevelopment area that can ultimately bring thousands of new residents, businesses, and mixed-use development just north of downtown. Fort Worth's current plan envisions more than 10,000 mixed-income residences over time. Historic Southside, long-delayed urban village may finally break ground. Evans and Rosedale project is again nearing construction after years of delays. Plans include apartments, townhomes, retail, commercial space in one of Fort Worth's long-targeted revitalization areas near downtown in the medical district.
That's it.
Could be medical district. I mean,
That's in my house. Woodhaven, 150-acre
Yeah, he did.
former country club is moving toward redevelopment.
He did.
The development team has outlined plans for housing, community center, restaurant space, and additional mixed-use development at the former Woodhaven Country Club in East Fort Worth.
That's not Meadowbrook, is it?
I don't think so.
This is north of 30.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the golf club right there behind Channel 11,
Yes.
Yeah.
where the main studio is, or it used to be, and now they're in North Dallas. The site has been tied to an estimated $167 million redevelopment plan, making one of the more significant east side repositioning stories to watch. So here's another AI prompt, talking about redevelopment. What does that do for property values? How does that affect them? That's a good conversation to have with your AI partner. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the core value. And Brian, I'm actually 1 minute behind, so I apologize, but if you run long, it's okay. Today's core value was we are passionate about daily growing stronger, smarter, and more selfless. Today, we're going to focus on this part of it is we're relentless about the pursuit of knowledge and growth so that we can share it and pass it on. Brian, come on up, bro. Here he is, the man, the myth, the legend. And Patty's giving you.
Right here, not, here we go.
Well, and of course I had chat make that picture and it knows I'm an appraiser and I drive a black Jeep. I'm like, is it just
right.
coincidence? But I'm gonna say, unfortunately, in many ways, we're not ready. But we're gonna get, here we go,
Okay, here we
either
go.
way, on the new. I'm not gonna, you know,
We all
you've been
went,
down there
huh?
and no one can really see it, but, I'll just say, is this the bottom one that's the dot? Yeah, anyway, okay, so, and I showed you guys this, this big graph. This was distributed in 2024. And we were all excited. I want to start testing this new version and we'll start, you know, we'll kind of dovetail it. Well, we're like right here. And like, I just got my first 3.6, like 2 days ago.
Sure.
And there was nothing going, no software developers. I'm not sure. I think one I'm not sure even one software developer was approved by Fannie Mae, even in this entire, during the limited production. Like we're so far behind.
Can you unpack that?
Yet,
So 3 you're talking about this is a new.
this is a new generation of appraisal report.
And it just looks different or? It has
And it's
different-
beautiful. Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful, it's a great looking, much more organized document. And also I'll show you a few, I've done a
You're
few
saying
screenshots.
They announced it in 2024. So no one
Yes.
used it.
And we are,
They were supposed to be doing software, getting things ready
Yeah.
for this new appraisal, and nobody
they
did.
had, there were very specific hoops that the software providers had to jump through to get approval to start allowing their users to use this new, use the new form. And we are just massively. And so the big date is this November 2nd. As of November 2nd, Fannie Mae says, and we're talking about, right now we're talking about conventional loans that are intended to go to the secondary market. So it's official, it's somewhat, that's a big piece of the pie, but it's not every mortgage. But starting on November 2nd, we have to use this new version, but we are just, we're really struggling to move ahead. And in theory, there'll be a little bit of transition, but by May of 2027, the kind of archaic version that you sent me, the form that we've been looking at for a while, it was created before computers, and then they just made a computerized version of that to just fill out all the cells, all the data stuff. But we're still working on that. All right, so November 2nd, that is it will be mandated that the conventional loans will be on this new form, and it's a great form.
Does it change the way,
Oh, okay, there we go. Oh, go ahead.
does it change the way appraisals are done, or is it just the documentation?
There are a few details.
Okay.
There are a few pieces of information, like, and I'll show you a few of those.
Okay.
But like, there's maybe 10 new things. Like one is we have to say how high above ground is the front door.
Mhm.
Like, and that's about flooding. I mean, this new form, this whole process is just one big data graph. Because right now it's like a XML file, and it grabs data, but it doesn't really
But is that gonna cause problems with certain types of loans if, let's say, the threshold isn't high enough, even though it's technically never
long-term-
flooded, but
Long-term, I'm gonna say lenders are gonna start seeing this data and maybe the way whether they're gonna require flood insurance, things like that. But again, I think for the first, maybe, this is just my opinion, but I'm gonna say for the first couple of years, it's really just, let's just get better data. Yeah. So I will say, the most recent Texas Realtor magazine, Candy Cook, I was down in Georgetown a couple weekends ago, we do it twice a year with the Texas Association of Texas Appraisers. They're really good. Bryan Reynolds is, if you know him, he's out of Tennessee. He's real proactive with appraisal stuff. Candy's great. And she's always there. I make sure I sit close to her and hear her random little side comments. I learn a lot. And she always asks great questions.
If you don't follow her real estate page,
Yeah,
follow it.
she's
Yes,
awesome.
she is awesome.
Say again. Candy Cook, yeah, Cook Real Estate. That's Candy.
She's a friend of mine.
She's awesome.
She is amazing.
Super down to earth. So this new form, the version 3.6, does not affect FHA, VA, or USDA at this time. They're all on their own timeline, and it'll happen. So, like I said before, the whole November thing is really about conventional loans, just normal conventional loans that are just slam dunk secondary mortgage market. Okay, yeah, just said that. And yeah, in this form, the good news is for the end user, it's just going to be it's a joke. I look at appraisals and I can't even find the stuff. It's just like see addendum, and you got 20 pages of just text and just lender overlays and stuff.
Will the value be in a very
like front
we
page,
don't know.
front.
In bold.
Yes, right. I've done a few screenshots, and I've also showed there's a link. Fannie Mae has an appendix. You can go, not like you have to be pretty bored, but you can see complete versions of a single family, of a multifamily, mobile home, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, one of the best things, like right now, you just okay, you've got all the information for the first few pages, and then you just have pages and pages of pictures, and then all these other addendum and blah, blah, blah. Now it's going to be, yes, you're going to have all this information about the property, but then it's going to say whatever, like you've got the kitchen. Well, then it'll have the picture of the kitchen, and then it'll have quality and condition individual ratings of the kitchen. And are there any required repairs for the kitchen? Everything that has to do with the kitchen is right there. Or your garage, it'll be a picture of the garage, and it'll talk about the garage and how many spaces in it, and everything is right there. And if it takes one picture, great. If it takes 10 pictures, they'll all be right there. Everything about the garage, or most importantly, like ADUs or pools, or just all the extra stuff, exterior features. Everything's going to be right there. The information about it, the measurements of it, the pictures of it, all that kind of stuff. And it'll just kind of go down the page, as opposed to just the not so great organized version of the past, right? No addendum. Okay, so as Holly was asking, the first thing you're going to see is like this title page, this summary page that has everything we want to know. It's going to be the value, and it's going to have, does it have any required repairs?
Do you have an example of that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, and and that used to be like the subject to items. So it's now they just defects, damages should be a comma there, deficiencies requiring actions. Okay, so this is page 1, and it's even it just looks like this is a screenshot of one of the ones on Fannie Mae. I mean, even just like the fonts we use and just everything.
looks like a CDA.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're in we're in
It does look like
the
this.
21st century.
Yeah.
So yeah, up at the top, it's going to be opinion of market value. They'll talk about effective day, just kind of general stuff. And then if it's either is it subject to repair or is it as is for whatever. And that's the very first
Is
page.
subject to repair, like only for like a construction type of loan or?
No, that'll be like, it's a lot of,
FHA.
smoke detectors or just, well, you know, if it's conventional, if you've got a conventional loan, it's really just gonna be safety things like smoke detectors, or is there like, electrical connections that are not in a closed.
Or like a handrail for a stairs.
Right, yeah,
Something that's like
yeah,
safety related. It's,
yes, act safety, that's gonna be,
Patty, come on.
but like
Hi.
deferred, like the annoying deferred maintenance. Does she have a question? Yeah, go ahead, Patty.
No, I'm happy to hold my questions to the end because I feel like you're probably going to answer them. But you opened by saying that you're struggling, that there's going to be some struggle. What does that mean as far as like the transition for appraisers?
Yes, I will talk about that,
Okay.
about a timeline and potential delays in the process.
Okay,
so
I'll just hold everything to the end. Thank you.
Okay, but the like the annoying like chipping paint and stuff, that's FHA, VA. The pressure relief valve on the water heater, stuff like that. That's all FHA, VA. You're not going to get so many of those things. You're not going to get those things on conventional loans. And so this, and again, this is on the front page. This is the bottom half of the summary page. We're just going to talk to you about defects, damages, and deficiencies, and it'll tell you where it is, what it is, general description, does it affect soundness, and action required. It might be an inspection, you know, if there's signs of settlement and we need a foundation inspection, or does it need to be a repair? So you're going to have all the information you really need is going to be on page 1, and you don't have to go searching for it. So this is major progress in terms of just the general communication. Okay, I don't want to belabor this too much, but I'll just, that's the next slide. So this is a better version. It's like right now I get to give 1 quality rating and 1 condition rating for the entire house, inside, outside, whatever. But now I can do, I can give at least an interior, because you think about a lot of houses, they may look great on the inside and horrible on the outside, or vice versa. We can, at the very least, we're going to be able to give quality and condition ratings for pretty much every major area of the house. And then we're going to be able to give an overall interior quality and condition rating and exterior.
Would
quality
that
and
help with
condition.
valuations?
I think it is.
I
And
think it does
it
too.
could be a little messy at times,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be a more accurate assessment of the property. So you're depending, you know, but you're going to have this whole laundry list of all the rooms and what's going on. But this is an example of how this form is taking way longer.
And that's what I was just about to say. So appraisal prices are gonna skyrocket.
Well, that hasn't really happened. Or the people that are doing the lenders are just saying, we're still gonna pay you $500 for this. Well, and the buyers, you know, the buyers are paying $700, the AMC's taking $200, and we're getting $500, you know, like it's that whole thing. So we're kind of button heads on that.
Right.
But I did, you know, I'm going to Stephenville, and I can maybe help you out in Grayberry, but I gave a go away bid for this in Baines, west of Stephenville. I said, I'll do that for $1,000, and I'll get it to you in 2 weeks. And as I'm typing, I'm laughing. Right. Well, they took it.
Just kidding.
Oh, you're going to West. It's like you will get the time work. You're going to Baines, like out there, like.
Literally,
Yeah.
it's happening.
Like goes way further than what you're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna belabor these next 2 slides too much, but I am gonna say, so we have quality ratings and we have condition ratings, and each one are 1 through 6. Like, and so for quality ratings, quality 1 is something we've, you know, $20 million, $10 million, whatever. Quality 6 is a house that you can't even live in, you know, throughout the entire year. Like it might be a summer
residence, but it can't handle the winter or that kind of thing. Like you can't, that's how poor. Most homes that we're dealing with on a regular basis fall in this either Q3 or Q4. And like they're here, but it's a lot of words. But I would encourage you to just Google UAV quality ratings and it's a one-page PDF print and do the same thing for condition. Now the quality ratings they're very subjective. But it'll like whether it has, an ensuite bath, Q3 might like an ensuite bath for the primary, but also maybe a bathroom in the hallway that would be dedicated to, just guests, like a half bath. And the Q4 is just kind of very entry level stuff. But get to know those because what it's going to do, it's just going to help you pick your comps better. Because this is what an appraiser has to do. They have to look at this property, and way more houses are Q4s than people call a lot of houses Q3, and they're not. Q3 is much more like a custom neighborhood, your general tract home, and even like houses that you think, well, it's 400,000. Well, it's pretty. It's pretty, and it's new, and it's got decent square footage, but it's fairly generic and to the market, and that's going to fall in a Q4. So knowing that and being able to pick your comps better. But the biggest thing is way more houses are C4, and again we have C1 to C6. C1 is brand new, never lived in. That's the only thing C1. C2, like our appraiser motto is nothing over 5 years old. Even if it's like, unless it's maybe a Fairmount home that was literally gutted to the studs and everything, it might be a C2, but we're probably just going to call it a high-end C3. C2 is kind of not older than like 5 years.
So we're talking like age, not necessarily like finished quality.
Yes, economic age, effective age, not because we don't really go beyond 60 years. Even if it's 100 years old, you're not really going to say.
So it's more like how old is the stuff versus like,
yeah,
it's a Sub-Zero.
Right.
It's less like quality of finish. It's more like,
is it how has it been repainted? How old is the roof? Things like that. And that's a really big thing. Like again, when you're assessing your home, but also looking at comps. Print these out. I try and read through the condition ratings to remind myself when I'm just doing appraisal or whatever. I will go back and I'll look at the words. Where even C3 is just is almost no deferred maintenance. Where you C4, when you start minor damage, worn floors, kitchen and baths are not updated or fully functional. Like get to know those, and at least it's not rocket science, but at least it helps guide you to find what words most appropriately represent my property, and now I'm going to go find similar homes, and we're not just searching for something that matches the price we want. So the not so great news, yes, software providers have struggled. And there are some software providers that still haven't been approved by Fannie Mae. The big one, Alamo Total, that most people use, is only like 50% functional. I have to hand type, like right now I can download everything into an Excel file and then import all my sales data. For this new one I'm doing in Zoom, I literally have to hand type every single cell of this entire report. Like I can knock out a report in 2 hours, easy. This one, I'm 2 hours in and I haven't even gone to the property yet. Most are putting 10 to 12 hours per report. And this is, this is what people are saying in Georgetown. People who are now maybe once there are 6 or 7 reports down, they're getting it down to like 4 hours. But like, it's just, there's so much more data, and it's just cumbersome with the software providers. So that's the kind of answering Patty's question.
turnaround times, like delivery times, it's gonna be, like, I did the 2 week thing, and I will probably say 10 days. Like, it used to be like during the pandemic when everything was going crazy, it kind of turned into 2 week turn times on appraisals. Like, I think that's gonna be a little more normal for for your conventional loans. Just know that it might take a little longer because there are people who are, older appraisers, they're just retiring because they don't want to have to learn this new stuff. Yeah, some people, right. Yeah, the people who want to do it. But it's gonna take a while, and we're not really ready. We're just dipping our toe in it right now. And once November 2nd hits, it's just gonna,
Can
we're
I
just gonna be
ask,
hitting the brakes.
can I ask you a question? So would it be smart and proactive of us to start building out 45 to 60 days?
Even 45, yeah, for a closing
Because I mean,
day.
like technically, like if I had a buyer today
Uh-huh.
and I wrote a contract, I'd be like, 30 days. So, I mean, minimum for FHA or VA.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, usually I try to kick it to even 45 days, but now even looking at longer contract days, like 60 days.
For conventional loans after November 2nd. And that's going to be, and then for the next 6 months or so.
So we need to adjust our third-party financing. to
Yeah.
Yeah, finding.
And talking to your lender, like, who's your, don't just, like, okay, we get the pre-approval, we have a nice little conversation, we're in good shape. Okay, great. As far as the early conversations with your buyers, lenders, but have real specific conversation. What are your turn times on this new appraisal form? How
But
quickly?
they may not know.
Well, if they don't even know, then definitely do 60 days.
Okay.
If they're not even using them yet.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Because they should be using them.
Okay.
And if they haven't yet, then, I had lunch with a former student who's in the mortgage business when I was down there in Georgetown, and he wasn't aware of the new form. And I was like, wow, the message is not necessarily getting out. So there may be lenders who just aren't in the loop. So mixed interest on completing the report. So it's just getting, it's getting a little messy now, but it's going to get incredibly messy on the conventional loans after November 2nd. Yeah, right. Twice taking forever. Fees not guaranteed. So appraisers are bitter. It's taking forever, and everybody wants to,
Do you think they'll get away with that whole AMC? Do you think they'll navigate some kind of adjustment like that?
That was all
Because
post the crash,
Yeah.
the 2007 stuff. What would really get it, Texas is a non-disclosure state. And so one of the things about that is we're not allowed to put what we're paying the appraiser on the report. Texas doesn't allow that. Where a lot of states, it'll have on page 3 additional comments down the bottom, AMC fee 200, 250 or whatever. And they're processing it, and they're kind of the independent mediator of the appraisal. But when I don't think buyers realize how much of that chunk they're, even though, so since 2007, 2008, appraisal fees have gone up, but the appraisers are just, their fee, their income has not changed. And that's very frustrating.
Right, there should be some balance there.
Yeah, right. Okay, so so if you want to make a note of this, Fannie Mae website, Appendix D-1. If you are interested in seeing what this new form looks like, that's what you want to Google. And there's zip files, and you can, there's like 8 different examples. Appendix D-1 on the Fannie Mae website. So I'm not going to do, so this was kind of if we had time, but this will,
We're gonna talk about that after this as well.
okay, great. Yeah, so all that kind of stuff. And I think that's pretty much it. And see how many times, not too long ago, it was just a random house in the 80s or whatever. And the house was 500 square feet bigger than tax records. So there are just so many errors in the tax records, and site size in Hood County is
That and their, whoever surveyed that county, well,
It's just a mess.
magical.
Okay, so yeah. Good. We're gonna hit that, but I want to show them this first and then come back to the Q&A. Is that cool? Okay, yeah. Okay, so, Bryan and I worked together last night and we built something for you guys. So this is in the weekly move. It's already there. But what Bryan was talking about back here on his site size, and let your data guide you to value, growth, living area, age plus 8 to 10 years, and then bracketing. So that's all been built into an AI coach on the weekly move. Let me get there as quickly as I can. Now I want to ask you this question in just a minute. So this is our first question because I want to hear this. But the weekly move will help you build your appraiser packet. So Bryan and I talked about what, as an appraiser, does he want to see from a realtor? And what he usually sees is, here's the comps. How are you going to defend that? This coach will help you defend that. So what it's doing right now is, if you'll go in there, put in, if you do your cubic casa, please be doing cubic casa for your houses. Get the square footage. You can load that in there. I've actually made this one so you can load multiple files up to 3 megabytes. If it's bigger than 3 megabytes, you need something to make it smaller. If you run into that problem, send it to me and I will reduce it and I'll send it back to you. I have a software that does that. But everything needs to be smaller than 3 megabytes. I did it this morning and it made me defend all of the comps. And it said, well, where's your high bracket? Where's your low bracket? And you've got to be able to put those comps in here and say, this is what I think the property's worth in this condition. So, but it's all built into the AI coach. And then the coach is going to ask you, it'll walk you through, do you know the subject? Defend your comps, find the holes, and then it will build a lean packet for you to give to an appraiser. And that is up to you. This is the actual move. Take a real listing, bring the comps, see if you can defend them. Don't ask AI to do your work, ask AI to challenge your work. And that's where you find it. It's at the weekly move. Huh?
Nothing.
Are you mad at me?
No,
This is,
I'm already doing this.
okay.
I mean, not exactly like you're doing it, but I have been pulling in like comps and, yeah, all of it.
Wait,
I mean,
yeah,
that's what I'm taking the listing appointments is a 2-page, basically breakdown, like using comps, area information, showing insights and all that, and giving like a 30, 60, and 90-day marketing plan, how long it'll actually take to sell your house
Yeah.
at different price ranges.
So I challenge you to take it and put it in there and just run it one time to see if you like it. See if it makes you actually will defend what you're actually doing. Now, we're going to go back to Bryan because we're going to spend the last part of this on his Q&A. So,
And let me see what Patty.
oh, she gave a thumbs up. She gave a thumbs up.
Okay, awesome.
So,
So a quick spiel, yeah, about the bracketing stuff, and if anybody has any questions.
so everybody online, you guys can unmute as we get into the Q&A and ask Bryan questions. But right now, let him do his spiel and then he'll answer this question first.
Let me,
Yep.
just. Yeah. So. Yeah, the main thing, I guess my main point would be that just put yourself in when you're talking to the appraiser, the big word, use the word bracketing. Throw that word, like, this was my, I bracketed my pool with this thing, I bracketed my, my workshop with this.
So as an
thing.
appraiser, you like it when someone.
Yes,
does
use that
a-
word bracketing, because you're gonna tell, that's your code word that I understand what an appraiser is required to do, because I have to, if I don't, like, you think out of 4 sales, because the listings don't count. Some people, a lot of lenders, they want those listings, like you'll see 4 sales, or 2 sets of 3, 4 closed sales, 2 listings. That's what most lenders want. The listings do not, I mean, it's a reflection of the current market, but listings do not support value. So do not use a listing.
How far back are you going?
I got, like, these days, I go back a year.
That's allowed.
Yeah, I go back a year because now, like, right after right once rates really went up, like, we had a little bit of declining market stuff, but pretty much for the last couple of years, I mean, everything's flat. And most people, as far as market, so whenever there is a stable market is a word we use, whenever there's a stable market, when the appraiser is saying now based on the data, then I can go, I'm not going to go back farther than a year, but I don't have to make a time adjustment. Like if I'm using a sale from 9 months ago, I don't have to raise or lower the price based on the market trend. I can just use that sale. So there's, there haven't been a lot of sales. So I need more data, especially the more rural I get. I got to go farther out. I got to go farther back. I got to find sales because it is non-negotiable for these lenders where I have to have a sale that's older, newer or older. I have to have a sale that's bigger and smaller, not or older and younger, bigger and smaller. And I prefer the same quality, the same conditions, but I have to have my subject has a pool, I have to have a pool. If it's got a workshop, I have to have a sale with a workshop. So if you just think about those things and then you come up with 4 sales that support and if the sale is bigger than your subject, then it's okay. It could, let it be. Like, don't pick a sale that's bigger and costs, it's sold for less than you want to sell your house. Begin with the end in mind. Like if it's bigger, make it more. If it's smaller, it can be a little bit less. But like not so much age is more of just checking a box. Don't worry so much about age as long as it's within 8 or 10 years or so, that kind of thing. Don't worry so much about age or any adjustments. It's about square footage. It's about quality and condition and exterior and garage count, or and exterior features. That's where the value in the properties are. If you're just really trying to be specific. So I challenge you to find 4 sales that check all those boxes, and then that's the sale. Those are I was working on I had an email prep for that my Weatherford listing that I was concerned it was going to hit value. As soon as I got the the note, that was the one, that was really all I sent. I said this, I know this house is a bit of a unicorn with really like 1,000 square foot of workshop and a guest house. So I'm like, here's some sales. These are the sales I use to bracket those concepts. And they never responded, they never replied, but sure enough, it had value. And I think you will find success, but speak their language and have meaningful. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten CMAs where and I said, don't send the full, like the agent full, don't send the whole, just give them MLS numbers or just a little Excel file. It just says add, MLS, address, price, that kind of thing.
The quick CMA.
Yeah, quick CMA. Just,
I have a question.
Go ahead, Patty.
Bryan, I have a question. So, I use all this. You and I have talked several times about different comps that I use, and I try to follow your guidelines as well. If you can't find something in that 120 days, do you suggest going back further in time or broadening the area? Which one holds more weight with you?
Yeah, it's kind of a sliding scale. You think about urban, suburban, or rural. Like urban, you really need to stay within that mile and a half. And I would go back farther. You can go back a year. Like the market is fairly stable right now. So try and make it, at least have one sale that's within the last 3 months. But if you need to go back farther to bracket, especially if you just don't have a lot of sales with a workshop, but I really need a workshop, go back a year, that kind of thing, or a pool. If you need to go back farther to bracket a specific item, but your sales, if at all, and if it's suburban, you can go 4 or 5 miles. No, I mean, that's you think 4 or 5 miles in Mansfield, it's all, a big chunk, but so you can go, don't be afraid to go in Mansfield, don't be afraid to go 2 miles, but especially if you know the neighborhoods really well and you're like, I know that there's this one neighborhood, it might be on the other side of 287, but it's exactly the same neighborhood. Use those sales and have that conversation in an email, just use that information when you're sending it to the appraiser
or just when you're picking your comps, but, be confident in, if you know the truth, just be confident in that. And especially if it's a recent sale, but it's a little farther away, but you know, it's very similar. That's a great sale.
Okay. And I
Okay,
try
great.
to do that. I also try very hard not to like cross over like any highways if it's possible. But like what you're saying, there are some pockets of our neighborhood that are very similar to others. School districts is another thing that I think I've always tried to stay within the same school district.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that I feel like I really struggle with, and I don't know if anyone else does, is I always try to bracket, you know, 1-story houses with 1-story houses, 2 stories with 2 stories. But there are occasions when there's just not enough that have sold. And I always struggle with comparing like a 1-story to a 2-story and if that's counted as a comp.
I don't get a lot of kickback on 1-story versus, especially you're in that gray area. You know, it's kind of in that 1,900 to 2,200 square foot where you
Yeah.
can kind of fall. I don't get a lot of kickback from lenders as long as I have one, or as long as at least like out of my 4 sales, it's like 2 and 2. But if I just have like, if I got a 1-story subject and I got three 1-stories and 1 2-story, no one's complaining to me on that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? But also, I'm more than happy, like, I will measure your house. I will, like, I do that a lot. Like, and it's like $100 to $200. If it's like just generic 1,700 square foot 1-story, you're just not sure what's going on, like that might be $100. If it's a 3,000 square foot house, 2-story complicated, that might be 200, but and it's somewhere in the middle. But I'll come out as quick as I can, and I'll tell you the number right there. It may take me a day to kind of get the sketch prettied up and send it to you, but like I'll tell them, whoever's there, I'll show them my iPad, you know, this is what I got, you know, just your number.
So if we have a seller that's selling a custom build that they changed numerous times, so they don't even know the square footage, you can go out there.
Oh, totally, right.
So what would it's in Granbury, what would you charge?
That might be like 150.
Plus a gift card for him and Lisa to go to dinner.
Okay, I can do that. I can do it.
But yeah, I feel very strong
At
about,
Marina.
I see so many inconsistencies in terms of what's on MLS and what, like in terms of GOA. There's so much inconsistency. And just there was the ADU does not, you know, the ADU, the square footage and the bed bath count do not count that in your listing. You include it. You can, if you've got a guest house, just list your house as the primary. That's the primary structure.
Because it has to be attached to count as square footage
It has to be attached.
and air
Right.
conditioning. So
But
You have
even
to get
whatever
full
it is,
value, because they'll still give you partial.
yeah, oh yeah, you're going to definitely get value.
but he's
But in
saying
terms
in the
of, like,
MLS, don't put the actual square footage, but write it
Right.
down in the.
in the
description.
details, say it's got a guest house with 900 square feet.
extra bedroom.
It is a-
ADU square
Yes, right.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But I just come across that a
People
lot.
putting it in the regular.
Like PK is horrible about that.
We had
Um,
I had one on Eagle Mountain that it was technically under the same roof, but it wasn't connected, and the appraiser kicked it back.
Yeah. And it just comes back to that, like if you're including that, it's just gonna bite you. when
Yeah, it
you're on
automatically
value.
included it, and I was
Yeah.
not the wiser. And
Right,
Was there a lease line between the two buildings?
yeah.
yep, like I said, it was under the same roof.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it was connected, but because there wasn't walls,
Yes,
they gave it like half the
Right.
price per square
Right.
foot.
yeah,
That happened to me on VA whenever, they had, a home was built with walls that weren't,
yeah.
the
Ceiling
or
height,
whatever it
ceiling
was.
height.
Yep.
And then they just took off all of that square footage, like 250 square feet.
Well, that's anything, but as long as the walls are at least 5 foot, like a lot of times you think about, you have that bonus room above the
Yes.
garage, anything like I will literally set my laser and I'll go across, like once I find 5 foot off the floor, and then I just go to the opposite angled side, and that's how much, like you see it on a sketch, it'll be a
Oh, okay.
rectangular of what should count, and then these little slivers on the outside toward, you know, kind of between the lower part of the, like an A-frame house, you know, those little portions on the
Yes.
side, those are non-GLA.
You put something there, you
It
just can't do
shouldn't,
it.
but it shouldn't, Patty had a question. Okay, go ahead, Patty.
I have one more question. I know that you are awesome and that you're going to keep us updated after November when all these little crazy things start to happen. But do you anticipate an increase in reconsideration of value because of the changeover? Do you think that agents and do you think that that's going to change much, or do you think everybody will settle in?
I think the focus is gonna be on just trying to get these appraisals completed.
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna impact the value. That's just my personal opinion. I think the hiccups are gonna be in delivery times and potential appraisal fees, increases, and not necessarily just this mad, rush of properties not hitting value.
Okay. Thank you for doing this for us. So we appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. But yeah, anytime, text me. I'm happy to answer any questions, but also, I'm super proactive about measuring out houses. I'm more than happy to do it.
Can we thank Bryan? Thank you, sir, for all you do for us. Number one. Number two, thank you for doing this presentation so that we have a little bit better scope of what is about to occur. So we should start seeing these, how do you say? Do you say UR? Do you say URAR? What do you say?
Well,
Uniform appraisal?
Yeah, uniform residential appraisal report.
Okay,
But it's always been URAR 2.6 or whatever.
okay. So what do people just call it, 3.6?
3.6, 3.6.
So
November is when like
it's supposed to be dropped dead.
you flip the switch.
What are the chances that they push it back because none of the software providers are ready?
Well, there are enough that are.
Okay.
So
So then I go back to that question. Let me get there, and this is the last thing. Oh, there it is. So when you receive info from the listing agent, can you tell pretty quickly whether the agent actually did their homework or whether they're just trying to justify the contract price?
I can tell, like, is the GLA bracketed? Just that in itself. And how many times I've gotten where they're houses that are bigger and they're all, I mean, I shouldn't even say that because I've seen all kinds, but yeah, just even bracketing GLA.
Okay, so if I send you a report and I send you all bigger houses and I don't say the word bracketing, and so you look at that and you go, he didn't do his homework, you throw everything I just did out. All right,
Yeah,
set it to the side.
I mean, I will look. Some people won't look. They're just, appraisers are an interesting group of people. But I'm gonna look. Like if there's something, that's just my nature. But it's very, and sometimes it's been grabbed like, sweet, these are great sales. Like I'm gonna pull my own, but then half of my sales are the ones the realtor sent. I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure I'm hitting value. Like I think most appraisers really are just trying to not get in the way. You know, just like, a willing buyer, willing seller, open market, like the house, like we've got a buyer, we've got a contract. Let's try and make this work. So just help me find the data. You know your market as well or better than I do. Let's make this deal work and let's get this thing knocked out.
Okay, so here is the move. If you didn't get it last time, but it's on the agent hub. You can get to the move there, and encourage you to load. If you don't have a listing or you don't have something you want to run it, there's actually a test one that you can do on the weekly move. So thank you guys for your time today. We're 15 minutes over, but thank you for allowing us that. And we will see you. Well, I won't see you next week, but I'll see you on the video because I'll be in Nashville. Bye, y'all.
Good to see everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.